The following feature presentation is part of the All for Sci-Fi Podcast Network.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
You cannot, Dave. But we're back!
If you only knew the power of the dark side. Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
He told me enough.
With what?
He told me you killed.
No,
Hey, buddy.
I am your father.
And Dante's here.
I'll be back.
No, you won't.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Hey,
It's a trap!
It's a trap.
The needs of the many outweigh
The needs of the few.
or the one. Do or do not. Irrespective.
With the cat.
Live long and prosper.
Get away from her, you
Hey,
bitch!
come on. The Newt's right there.
Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me you built a time machine? Out of a DeLorean?
Bye-bye, boys.
Have fun storming the castle.
Take it away.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Stop saying that!
I see dead people.
So what? You said that.
Why so serious?
I volunteer as tribute.
What I do is not up to you.
Chewie. We're home.
Yes, I
I'm one
am.
with the Force. The Force is with me. I'm one with the Force and the Force is with me.
I am one with God and God is with me.
I'm one with the Force and the Force is with me.
Definitely with me, everybody. Welcome, everybody, to the All for Sci-Fi Weekly Webcast. I'm your host, Eric Walker, and beside me is the trusty
Captain Richter.
Yes, and boy, have I had the most. Well, we'll talk about it a little bit, but to save my energy so that we can have a fun show, I'm only going to talk about it briefly, guys. I was hospitalized on Sunday right after not last Saturday. That's why we went dark. But on the 12th, I was put in I had to go to the emergency room. I was admitted immediately because they found a growth, which meant I had a very bad bacterial viral infection in my blood. Just to educate everybody here, let me go ahead and tell you what it was. Here's me in the hospital, not looking too happy. And what I had was Klebsiella. You thought they kind of do it for short. They just said, "Oh, you have Klebsiella," and everybody knows what it is. But it's Klebsiella pneumoniae, and the pneumoniae is not pneumonia. Okay,
No, it's not.
just a word that there. And what it is it's a bacteria that
Bacteria?
normally it's a bacteria. I know I'm still getting back. You got me, Captain Richter. But it's a bacteria that could be in your. Okay, say it for me, Captain Richter.
Bacteria.
Okay. It could be in your liver. It could be in your intestines, in your poop, I guess. But this was in my liver.
It
was not in those other areas. And what they found, and they had me run to the hospital, was that it was in my bloodstream. They were trying to figure out where it was coming from. So they did a CAT scan of all my lower intestines or whatever they call it.
Intestines.
Yeah. And then they also, to be sure, they did other areas, and they found a liver abscesses, they call it, in my liver. When they speculated that it was coming from that, they didn't know, but I had to have emergency
surgery.
Emergency surgery the next day because, and it's a minor surgery, guys. That's why I'm talking to you so soon. It's they stick a small little, so small, it's like laparoscopic. They stick it in your liver and they stuck it dead center of that abscessus, which is like the size of mine was the size of a golf ball, guys, in my liver. So by doing that, they do that and they put a catheter attached to it so they could drain it out and get rid of it. And why they were sending me to recovery over 2 bags that already filled up. That's how big that thing was. And it took about 3 or 4 days for it to totally drain. A couple days ago, I got that rod, that little light microscopic rod, and the catheter out. I do feel so much better. Thank you. I'm so blessed. Thank you guys for all your prayers. Prayers work, and God is real.
That's definitely true.
And thank you, Mike, for also for being one of the prayer warriors. I just feel so much better, guys. I'm weak, but I feel great, and I'm proud to say I have no more infection in my blood. I have no more infection in my liver. They might have to do some other tests, but if you look at the camera, you probably see I've lost about, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, 7. I probably lost 8 or 10 pounds since this. That's not a way to lose weight, guys.
No, it's not.
All right. But I just wanted to make that announcement. But let's get on with the show because we got a great one today.
Yes,
we missed a week of Ashoka. So we're going to talk about Ashoka episodes 5.
4 and 5.
4 and 5. No, 5 and 6.
I said it wrong. 5 and 6, yes.
You stumped me, and I said it wrong, too. Episodes, it's right on the screen there in front of me. Episodes 5 and 6. So we're going to talk about Ashoka episodes 5 and 6. Specifically the Dave Filoni one on episode 5,
yes,
which in my opinion is the best Star Wars I've seen since I saw Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to repeat that again. Episode 5 is the best Star Wars episode that I've seen since the original trilogy. And Dave Filoni, you were George's Padawan, but you're soon to become a master. That's my statement. Episode 6 was not equally as great, but it was very good as well. And that was directed by Jennifer. Her name was Jennifer.
Mm-hmm.
It introduced some really cute characters like the Na'ti and the Howlers, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Foundation had a finale, right?
Yep.
And Invasion, we missed a little bit of that. Thank you, Buddy. Buddy Mix is my writing partner. And he's known as ACM. While I was in the hospital, and I don't want to keep this up, but I felt a presence in the room, and I closed my eyes, and all these images started flooding in my mind, and I saw. Okay, I'm not gonna get emotional about this, but I saw my grandmother, I saw my aunt, I saw a friend that died recently named Joe of a heart attack. And then I'm not going to say at that time, you could easily say it's the fever or the morphine they were giving me. But at that time, I was very stingy about the morphine, and I would take it only every 10 or 12 hours. So I really wasn't taking it, and my fever was broken by then. So that's my testimony, and I'm going to stick with it. And the music came back. The music came back into my head. Because I have this thing where it's with the music sent to me from a higher source. It could be God, it could be anybody. I'm going to say it's God. And God gave me a lot of songs, and one of them is a Star Wars song. So a dance song. So get ready. It's going to be the best dance Star Wars song you've ever heard. And it's going to pay tribute. I'm not going to say the name, but it's going to pay tribute to the Jedi. And it's going to have a little bit of Sith in it too. But, there you go. Equal opportunity. Okay, let's get started. Captain Rickster, how was your 2 weeks? Don't talk about me. Did you see anything on, anything happen recently other than that, the other thing? Let's not talk about that anymore.
What did I see in the last 2 weeks? Well,
did you go to the movies?
I went one. Oh, I went once to the movies. That was
Right.
before. That was the day you went into the hospital.
Okay.
What did I see? I can't remember now. But it was really a good movie. I mean, I would recommend to see it.
Can't remember anything.
No, I'm forgetful like everybody else in this world.
Captain Richter, he's a trickster.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's get started anyway. Okay, guys. What do you want to review first? We're going to leave Ahsoka for a little bit longer later because I want to talk more about it. You want Foundation or Invasion?
Let's do Foundation because Foundation was final season was last week, so
Yes.
it's actually pretty good.
The last episode of Foundation, the finale. At All for Sci-Fi, you know we have a rating system of 0 to 5 stars. 5 stars is the best. Gets 5 stars. What do you give it, Captain Richter?
I'm at a 5 stars plus.
Okay, let's talk about it. That episode of Foundation really tied the entire season together. It was absolutely the most heart-wrenching. Right after the episode before was very heart-wrenching.
Yes.
But the last episode kind of sewed everything up. Of course, Empire is the biggest jerk on the planet. And so much so that he was going to start destroying every single planet to punish everybody.
Yep.
And his general turned on him. And that was awesome.
Yes,
that was probably one of my favorite parts. What was your favorite part, Captain Richter?
I like it when he tricked him into going to that airlock and he let him fly it out in the air in space.
Yeah, sure.
Became a living snowman.
Another one of my favorite parts about this episode was, what happened to Day. Remember
Yes.
Day? Day ended up taking off with Empire's wife to be, and they left the planet and they pretended like they were giving a speech to trick them so they could get out of there.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite parts. It had so much parts. You should not miss Foundation. Yes, the first couple episodes are a little slow. It picks up midway. This last episode is 5 stars. I would say the whole season is probably on Foundation is probably at least a 4.5 star. Do watch Foundation. All right.
And it did leave it open for another season too.
Well, that would be awesome. Well, of course, because now we have what was it called that Harry was doing? His thing with the metallics.
Oh yeah.
Foundation.
Well, he was doing that. He was making Foundation number 2.
Oh yeah. There's 2 foundations at the same time.
Yeah.
And he saved all those people after it was so heart-wrenching. That was great too.
Planet,
all those people got saved.
Yep.
Don't hit my keyboard on accident. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to next.
It's Invasion.
Invasion's had some pretty good episodes. I have to say that. This last episode was okay. It wasn't one of the best episodes of the season.
No.
But it was one thing about Invasion, just like Foundation, the acting's spectacular.
Yes.
The music's great. The special effects are amazing. I feel like we're watching the Abyss again. And those are things that I love about Invasion. And they're slowly trying to figure things out. Let's give the official rating. This episode gets an official All for Sci-Fi rating of 4.60 stars. What do you give it, Captain Richter?
I'm going to think I'm going to give it a 4.55.
Oh, you went below me for the first time in a while.
Yeah, well, it was good, but it wasn't great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. So, be that as it may, a couple of the things I liked about the episode was when that Asian girl, can't remember her name because, sorry guys, I'm just getting back, but she was communicating with the alien that looks like something from the Abyss, and it kept saying, "Please stop! You're hurting me, hurting me, hurting." She really hurt the alien. That it pretended like it formed her younger sister as a child.
Yeah.
This alien species, they are a piece of work. So overall, Invasion is great. I like that scene. I still like some of the scenes between the kids. I like the fact that they're trying to find their friend still. I think their friend is very important. He's the key to all of it.
Yep.
He could probably help them get rid of the aliens. In fact, she saw him before she got knocked out.
Yes, she
She
did.
actually saw him and through the kind of a tunneling effect.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on to the number one reason why everybody's here.
Ahsoka.
Yes. Yeah. This week's episode 5 of Ahsoka. I think it was called Shadow Warrior.
Yeah, Shadow Warrior.
This week's episode of Ahsoka, Shadow Warrior, was directed by Dave Filoni. Of course, all of them are written by Dave Filoni, which is great. But let's see, I wanted that image. But this week's episode, Shadow Warrior, no, last week's, but prior, episode 5. I have to tell you guys, it's by far, lean a little bit to your right, Rick, so you're still on the camera. It's by far, it's the best Star Wars I've seen. And I don't want to say it's better than the original trilogy because I don't want all the clamor on the comments. How could you say that?
Yeah,
but
really,
it's
yeah.
definitely making Star Wars exciting again.
Yes.
Thank you, Dave Filoni, for Shadow Warrior. The official All for Sci-Fi rating is 5 stars.
Yep, definitely
Highest
5.
you could get.
Definitely. No, you can go 5++.
Well, that Captain Rickster can, but I can't.
True.
And let me think about that episode. They finally, they finally get to that other planet where the key is, where they could use the device to get the key to travel with those rings.
Oh yeah, to find Thrawn.
And well, that's the bad guys are trying, like Balin Skoll and Morgan Elsbeth. They're trying to find Thrawn and his Padawan. So. And so they got to get the coordinates by using that. So all that's explained finally.
Yes.
And that's great because we saw that in another episode they were there. So all that's explained, which is awesome. And Ahsoka and Sabine show up with her droid teacher. By the way, that new droid, doesn't everybody want it?
Oh, yes.
Okay. And the next episode, we're going to talk about what everybody else wants as well. But they send people out to try to slow them down. Of course, they can't. So Morgan Elsbeth sends Balin Skoll and his Padawan to try to slow them down. Something happens in the thing, and I know what it is. Morgan, the Padawan of Balin Skoll, fights Sabine, and Ahsoka. Was she fighting Balin there? And what happened? I don't remember.
She got no, she wasn't.
She ran off.
She ran off and went after what's his name?
Went out Balin Skoll. Over where the thing was, the device, because they needed to destroy that that key or whatever, the round thing that everybody's going to want too, by the way. So she shows up there and starts fighting with Balin Skoll, and she lost.
Yeah.
Ahsoka lost.
And well, she got distracted when she
got distracted because the Padawan showed up first.
Yep.
And then she saw Sabine, and that's how she lost. Well, that's probably why she lost. You're right.
Well, she also grabbed that orb too and it burned her hand, so that didn't help either.
Yeah, that weakened her. And then she was telling Sabine before she lost, destroy it, destroy it, destroy it. And of course she lost, so she went off the cliff. And Balin Skoll, of course, sense the energy from Sabine, her past, because he has very powerful in the Force. He was a Jedi, then he turned. We find out more about Balin Skoll because he's talking about how he was there when Order 66 happened and the Jedi Temple fell. He was a teenager, and he couldn't understand it, but he kind of became a mercenary, I guess.
Yeah.
And now he has a Padawan. She seems pretty powerful. The saddest thing about this entire thing is the fact that the guy that played Balin Skoll passed away.
Yes, I know. That is really bad. So you won't see him in season 2.
You will not see him again. He died.
Yep.
And that just goes to show you guys, with this incident that happened to me, I encourage everybody to say I love you more. I encourage everybody to hug your kids more. Say you love your grandkids more. Hug them more. Even if they're teenagers and push you away, do it. Don't stop. Spread love.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And also make sure you go to the doctor and get checkups so you won't have any problems.
Well, this thing only had a couple week life, so that's not that. They wouldn't have found it.
No, they wouldn't have found it. But even still, though, there's other things out there they can cause more problems.
Well, that's true, and I'm going in November for a colonoscopy. I can't pronounce it.
Colonoscopy.
You didn't pronounce it right either.
Yeah, it's pretty close to it.
Yeah, I don't know. I might have been closer.
Well, I know
let me try it. Colonoscopy. Yeah.
Then you get a rod up, but you know what?
You get a camera up there. It's not a rod.
It's a camera. Well, I still got a rod because you have a camera on the end of the rod.
Stop it. Oh, boy. This is a kid's show. Let's move on. Okay. And so let's move on from this episode. We've seen most of it. Ahsoka also uses the Force later and senses what happened there and finds out Sabine went with him and didn't do what she said. She didn't, and she let him then destroy it so they couldn't follow her. So she switched sides because of her love for Ezra.
Yep.
And I can't say that neither one of us would have not done that.
True.
Under the circumstances. And the droid reminded her of that.
Right.
And during when they were getting ready to go, and then she has an idea to go in the wells because they could travel super hyperspace.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they got rid of Thrawn and Ezra anyway.
Yeah.
So what they did was, she asked one of them if they, with the Force, asked the biggest one, "Can you take me to where they went?" And in the next episode, we find out why they know where they're at. I'm not going to say it now, but why they're in there, right before the end of it. She's talking with the droid, and he gives her some wisdom, and kind of says, "Well," and she tells him about what happened with Sabine. She didn't tell Hera or anybody else, but he just tells her that's your biggest fear. That you got to understand what's going on, and then he goes, "You remember all the stories I used to tell you?" And Ahsoka said, "Yeah, about the stories about the beginning, number one, the middle, and the end." And a lot of people online are thinking the middle, the beginning, is the original trilogy.
It's not. No, it's
people.
not.
No way, people. I think that they're not talking about the original trilogy. They're talking about the dawn of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, when you get into High Republic, remember right before in the prequels, Yoda said on Coruscant that for 1,000 years the Jedis have been keepers of the peace, and there had no Sith.
Right.
Are not that they were aware of or not. It was brewing. A Facebook user just said, "I want various ex-Jedi who walked away from the order." Want more? Yeah, because Baylan Skoll is great, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I want more too. So let's spread that we want more. We're loving the way they're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on to episode 6, which is called Shadow Warrior.
Yep.
Episode 6 was directed by Jennifer Setzinger, I think her name is. And she's a pretty well-known director. I think she directed a couple of the episodes from Mandalorian, or I think that's it, because we know Deborah Chow did all Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Right.
And she's directed other stuff. She's a good director too.
Yes, she is.
She did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's give the official sci-fi rating of episode 6, Shadow Warrior. It gets a 4.90. What do you give it, Captain Rickster?
I'll give it a 4.95.
Okay, so you think it's better?
I think it's better.
I was close to giving it a 5.
It's not a 5, but it is close.
I was close to giving it a 5. I really was, guys, but I got to reserve my 5s, right?
Right.
Maybe the next episode would be 5.
We'll see.
But this episode has them landing on I think it's Trindor or something like that.
Yeah.
And or Tritor or whatever the name of the planet is. Again, I've been sick. I'm just catching up. And there's a signal from the planet. They go down there, and we find out that this was the ancient homeworld of the Dathmiri,
right,
the Night Sisters. And as you know, the original Night Sister was in Ewoks: A Battle for Endor,
right,
and they took it from that and made the Night Sisters concept. And that's pretty much whether they say it or not, a lot of people have told me that's where it comes from, and it's not one of those rumors or speculations, because both Jon Favreau and both Dave Filoni have said they've gotten great inspiration from Caravan of Courage, which I starred in, and they got great inspiration from He Walks About a Foreigner. I played Mace Tawani. A Facebook user is saying, love the Anakin stuff. If Anakin has multiple seasons, would love to see more Anakin. I agree.
I agree on that too.
The Anakin stuff was great. In episode 5, which we just reviewed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's get into it. So they land. The Dathomiri Night Sisters come out. When they're speaking, they welcome Morgan Elsbeth because she's from Dathomir,
right?
And she is a Night Sister as well. But this is ancient Night Sisters, so they look a little bit different. And what ended up transpiring was they looked over at Sabine Wren, and they said, I smell Jedi. So they locked her up.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Morgan Elsbeth and Baylan Skoll are getting a little patient and says, where's Thrawn? Where's Thrawn? They said, don't worry, he's coming. And boy, did Thrawn come.
Oh, yes, he did.
Played by Mad Mikkelsen. This entire episode, I was jumping out of my, if I could, I couldn't, but I was like shivering and shaking. I didn't cry. I was clapping a lot of times. And the next controversy is going to be the Na'Ti, which we're going to talk about.
Right.
Anyway, so they landed. We ended up, of course, seeing the Night Sisters, which there they are.
Mm-hmm.
And move to your right, Rick. And so the Night Sisters came out, and then after that, we saw Thrawn.
Yes,
Mads Mikkelsen, and then we got a new character. I don't know this character's name. I know I should have wrote it down, but again, I was sick. But he's the commander in charge of everything for Thrawn.
Right.
And Thrawn's already said that he's, once they find, if Sabine Wren finds Ezra, he wants them killed, including Baylan Skoll and his apprentice.
Yes.
So he's going to turn on them. So these next couple episodes could be some amazing stuff, guys. Especially if they turn on Baylan.
Of course.
He may go back to the Jedi,
mm-hmm.
and that could very, very much happen.
Right.
And then later into the episode, of course, they had Enoch. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, his name is Enoch.
Mm-hmm.
He's Thrawn's right-hand man. Thank you.
Yep.
Mike here in the comments, he is the Star Wars encyclopedia.
Yes,
for
he
us.
is.
And I can't wait to get back to Disneyland, Mike.
Yes, neither can I.
Hopefully I'll be well enough to go while that Boogie Bash is still going on.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that on Facebook. It looks great. This Facebook user is saying, do you think Thrawn will destroy the sisters before he heads back to their galaxy? That's a very good question.
It is, yeah.
I think that
he needs their magic right now.
I think that I have a feeling they're going to go with Thrawn. But should they not go with Thrawn, they will have a battle and they will be destroyed. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to go back with Thrawn because they want to go back to Dathomir.
Mm-hmm.
They want to go back to the, even though this is an ancient home world, I don't think they want to stay there. So that's my opinion on that.
Well, they want to leave there because they're probably some more powerful, something more powerful than they are.
Yeah.
It's on that planet.
Mike's talking about he's an homage to Thrawn is an homage to George Lucas's THX 1130. No,
Mm-hmm.
no, Enoch is. I think he's talking about Enoch. Yes, yeah. He does look a lot like those THX 1138.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he does. But he's different still. I can't wait to get that helmet. We know we're gonna have that.
Oh, most definitely.
So Baylan Skoll, Thrawn lets Baylan Skoll keep his word, and so they give her something called a howler, which is a creature on that planet that's kind of like a funky looking dog, or bigger.
It's like a dire wolf.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
A dire wolf is about that size.
So they give her this howler, and she's able to ride with it, and he becomes a scaredy cat.
Oh yeah,
and she has to defend herself. So Sabine, in Sabine's stubborn way, gets mad at it, but it's like a loyal puppy. It keeps going after her until she says, "Okay, I'll give you one more chance," which is great.
Yes.
And that stuff, all those scenes were awesome. Later, they the new dog creature. It's okay, Mike. Go. You can watch the end of it later. It doesn't matter.
Right.
But later, Mike, have a great one.
You too.
God bless you, Mike.
Yes.
I love you, Mike. Bye. Okay, so and then as it's sniffing around, he's sniffing around these rocks and keeps licking a rock, and this comes up.
Yeah.
And this is called the Nati. It's now going to be either the most loved creature, or it's going to become like the next Ewok, and nobody likes it.
Right.
Actually, there's tens of millions of Ewok lovers, so don't say that. But their language, I almost thought I heard a little bit of Ewok in their language a couple times. Like when they said "get up" and stuff like that over and over when he made them all get up. So this is the most adorable creature. I did not have a chance to take a look at it to see who played those characters, but I did note, and I was telling Captain Richter this, I think last week, that Nikki Patello, who was Teak in Ewoks A Battle for Endor, was in episode 5. She played a Gonk droid.
Yes.
So she was for sure in that. I don't know if she did more work, but I'm going to look on the credits. So this Nati takes her to Ezra, and they finally have the meeting that they want to have. And Ezra has questions. Sabine just wants to enjoy the moment. And
he can't wait to go back.
But
you know something? I did see a little Easter egg in there, though.
What'd you see?
A dream weaver.
What is that?
That's a thing that Indians make for a dream to catch dreams.
Okay.
I thought it was hanging up there on the shell of the ship.
That's cool.
Yeah. I
That's
go,
cool.
wow. Okay.
So yeah, so Sabine is finally reunited with Ezra, the live action Ezra, and he looks great.
Yep.
His acting's good. All the acting in this episode is wonderful. Of course, the music score by Kevin Kiner.
Yes. He's great.
He is our next. I'm not going to say he's John Williams, but his scoring is awesome. Kevin Kiner is. Keep using him in more Star Wars films.
Yes.
Not just cartoons. Kevin Kiner did all the music for the Clone Wars and Rebel cartoons. And now he's doing Ahsoka because Dave wants him to.
Right.
And again, he should be doing more Star Wars movies. And that's my opinion. So let's wrap this up, guys. What happened right at the end? I'm trying to remember. We're right at the end anyway.
Oh yeah. They were packing up to leave to go someplace else.
Right.
And the other two were spotted by the guys who got killed earlier by Sabine.
Yes. And then it ended. So
it ended, yeah.
And Sabine seems worried because she doesn't think they're going to get back. She thinks Thrawn's going to leave them. She has no idea Ahsoka is on her way with the Space Wells.
Right, yeah.
But also, I forgot to mention, the Night Sisters sensed that the Space Wells were coming, and we find out, and this is what I'm going to talk about, and I didn't do it in the last episode, but the Night Sisters, that's how they used to travel from Dathomir to their ancient home world, was through these Space Wells.
Right.
And these Space Wells go to this ancient world to die.
Right.
When they're at death. So they have this big graveyard above the planet of Space Wells. Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni.
He is the great person.
Jon Favreau.
Great.
Kevin Kiner.
Great.
Everybody at Lucasfilm.
Great.
From my heart, I am so proud of all of you.
Yes.
Keep it going.
Oh, definitely.
And like I said in the beginning of the episode, because I was sick in the hospital, please, guys, spread love. Hug your children. Say you love them more. Hug the grandchildren. Hug the teenagers if they don't like it. Who cares? And as we always say at All for Sci-Fi before we end the podcast, go out and do one act of kindness because it'll make the world a better place. And, the Force is with us always.
That's true.
Live long and prosper, everybody. Thank you very much.
Have a great weekend. A rest of your weekend, I should say. Have a great week. Come back next Saturday. We're going to have some more good stuff.
And I'll be better, hopefully. Sorry,
Okay.
I might sound winded.
All right. It's up to you.
All right. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, everybody. This was a really good show. Bye for now. God bless everybody.
The following feature presentation is part of the All for Sci-Fi Podcast Network.